Welcome to Australia. Hi, I'm Dan Winter, and this is the reshoot of the science segment from the new movie Avatar. And guess what we have here? We have the tree. Oh, from the movie. Look at the roots of that tree. So what we're going to talk about now is we want to understand how it is that this concept of how tree roots communicate and fractality actually is a major key to the serious science of how our environment becomes a living body, the really meaning of the organization of the collective unconscious and the fractal. First, I want to thank Lek, the organizer of our Polish group, goldenmean.info/Polish, for asking the right questions. You know, in this article you're about to read, goldenmean.info/avatar, you're going to see a discussion of our measurement of how it is that tree roots communicate. That we measure the electric field, the weak capacitive field around trees, giant old trees. And we discovered that the weak electric field has a harmonic, a power spectrum, a frequency signature, which indicates whether or not that tree is healthy, whether the electric radio of that tree is working. The concept of harmonic inclusiveness, the more harmonics present in the weak charge capacitance of that tree, the more it's alive, the more it has an immune system. The same way the fractality in your heart and heart rate variability. It's Professor Callahan that taught us about that. He was showing that the trees that picked up not just the Schumann resonance, but the 8, 11, 13, 17, all the harmonics that fit together in a cascade that make the Schumann resonance work. And that ratio of the contained harmonics approaches golden ratio, gets fractal, becomes centripetal and implosive, and you get the magic of Avatar in the movie. So, the question that Lek asked, and it was really a good question, he's saying, well, are we meaning then that God is everywhere? In other words, is this an old animist religion that says God's in everything? And actually, there's a pretty specific answer to that from the point of view of unified field physics, in my opinion. And that is that the unified field essentially says that everything in physics is made of rotating electric charge, either centripetal or centrifugal, plus or minus or yin or yang. And when that rotation of charge fits geometry in a circle, then you have quantum mechanics, and the wave stands, and that stores inertia called mass. And if the inside to the outside of those rotating waves of charge is fractal, the way the nucleus is to the electrons, then you have the non-destructive charge collapse perfected by golden ratio, which is how gravity is made in everything, and specifically in atoms. The nucleus is self-similar or fractal to the electrons. That's the equation I derived for hydrogen. The Planck length times golden ratio predicts the radii of hydrogen so exquisitely, it's proof that that golden ratio is the non-destructive charge collapse, which is how hydrogen is making gravity. And of course the golden ratio is central to the E8 unified field physics, and beautiful work by Nassim Haramein showing that everything in physics, especially including the proton, is basically a black hole. The universal scaling of that whole process, golden mean ratio. Anyway, but getting back to Lek's question, so are we saying that God is everywhere? If we're right that the unified field is made of this wind of charge, then the universe is all made of one substance, and it's all part of the perfected distribution of that charge, which is fractal, that creates self-organization. You have fractality, what we're calling phase conjugation, adding and multiplying, golden ratio, compression. Then you get that implosive, self-organizing force that fractally self-organizes and is the cause of gravity, consciousness, color, perception, and all the fun stuff. So, we are saying that everything is part of the mind of God, because it's all made of waves of charge. But there's one very important but. When those waves of charge, like in the way this tree is rooted and nested and embedded and cone-shaped, you know, in the movie Avatar, they actually lived in the cone-shaped roots of the tree. And that cone shape, just like a pine cone, is very fractal, and it perfected the charge distribution. And you remember the people in the movie, they were actually sitting around, arranged also like a pine cone or a rose, in concentric rings. And so they were perfecting the charge distribution that allowed them to all move as one living body, just like birds fly together in a flock and fish travel in a school. So it's a collective, coherent, e pluribus to be unum, which is to say, from many one. It's how you create oneness. So, that means that where waves of charge are communicating well, in the center of a tree, you have lots of the presence of that self-organizing electric field, the Spirit of God, collective mindfulness, the collective unconscious, that sort of thing. But in a metal building, or in a city full of electrosmog with steel and aluminum, those magnetic lines are not distributing well. What that means then is that when you sit in a metal building, you don't hear your inner voice, you don't hear your ears ring, you don't have bliss, you don't get seed germination, you don't have charge compression, you don't have fractality, your aura can't breathe. So in metal buildings and electrosmog cities where charge is not distributing well, God isn't very present either, in the specific sense that the distribution of charge, which is perfect, is called the divine and defines the sacred. So what we're saying is, yes, God is everywhere, but particularly if you want to make phone calls, you go to the sacred tree. You don't go to the metal building. Once you understand the principle, the physics, then you can embed yourself better and nest and become high leverage in the center of gravity of an electric field. And that's what avatar is about. R means the vehicle of light, T is the cross point, Ave means to fly. Now there's one more thing I want to show you before I turn you over to the article. We just walk around the corner here. We're, remember, in a very sacred area near Byron Bay, Australia. We just walk around this tree, right through this beautiful cobweb here. See the cobweb and the spiders? Well, this cobweb here, let's see if you can see it here. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I'd have to zoom in. But in the distance, you see what's over there? That's the lighthouse and Byron Bay Point. Now, the thing about that point is that the Aboriginals taught for millennia that a very strong magnetic line came ashore right there at Byron Point. And that magnetic line fits together like a cobweb here. And when you go to where the magnetic line comes ashore, you can feel it. It's a magnetic river. It's the symmetry of charge. It's the bloodstream of the circulation of the magnetism and charge of the collective mind. So when you're in a place like that, that's where you feel that presence. And to know how to find and be and make those places is the true fractal science of consciousness. So yes, God is everywhere, but His presence becomes dizzy and confused when you're in metal and electrosmog. Whereas when you're in beautiful places like this, and you've understood the power and importance of nature, then you too can be part of this well-distributed charge, the avatar experience. Thank you very much. Enjoy the article.